Y'all here? On a cold and gray Brooklyn morn, this ugly little baby child, he born in the ghetto. And his mama cried, 'cause there's one thing that she don't need, is another little ugly child to feed in the ghetto. People, don't you understand? That boy needed a helping hand, 'cause he done become a crazy old scammer today. Listen, mister, can't you see? Are you too blind to see? Are we all just going to look the other way? And he mama cried. Hi, Princess A. Mocha Drop. I am Mrs. Ricks. Pink Roses. Fraser Laurie. Erica. Let me tell you something. Hi, Blue Skies and Erica J. Ashley Walker. How everybody? How y'all doing? Hi, Tashana. Thanks for being here. This boy will not let this bullshit go, right? We talking about Bishop. He calls himself Bishop Lamar Whitehead. I'm so dehydrated. People, y'all don't believe how hot it is in the damn place. It is hot in her. I got to stay moisturized and hydrate. Oh, shit. Hydrated. Wait a minute. I got to get some water. This ain't going to work. Let me get a cup of water, please. On the cold and gray Brooklyn morn, that ugly little baby child, he born in the ghetto. In the ghetto. All right. How y'all doing today? People, never in my life have I ever heard of somebody getting robbed and going on a victory tour because they got robbed. This boy, Whitehead, has not shut up since the day that supposedly these people came in and robbed him. We have to use the words allegedly because apparently he has a tendency, he want to sue people and things. Whitehead, you have not shut up since that very afternoon. You started recording videos since that very afternoon, right? When these people come in there and you say, robbed you of all your jewelries, right? Didn't seem real. People commented on it. That's what we do over here. We are commentators. We comment on current events, right? And you thought you could use it up. Ain't nobody heard of no Lamar Whitehead before these people robbed you, right? So in your mind, you think now this makes me famous. I have gone viral and I'm going to milk this for all I can milk it for. So for a straight month, you've been going on TV shows and radio shows, internet shows. Anybody who will listen to you, you're on their show. And all your Gregella, all of your Gucci signs and your whatever. All of these designer things, you done show these people your closets and all this kind of stuff. So what you're doing is you're trying to milk the internet for publicity, right? And what you're discovering now is when you get yourself really in on the current topic, or you're trending. Some of the language is trending. Some people would say going viral, although I don't think you made it to actual viral. You are allowing these people, you are introducing these people to your life, right? So we're going to talk about you. This is what you want. You want to be talked about, but you want to be talked about in a way that is flattering to you. You started this shit, Whitehead, first by posting your robbery. Who posts their damn robbery? Right? Posting it and then talking about it, right? Claiming all these millions of dollars. It went from $400,000 worth of jewelry to 1 million. So now all the news outlets are using 1 million as the number of the jewelry you had hanging around your neck. A grown ass man. Why damn a man needs to be having all that shit on, I don't know. And it's particularly in that ramshackle ass church you have with no more than 25 people in it. But you want to be compared with Joe Osteen. You say, y'all don't ask Joe why he drive them cars. Y'all don't ask Joe Osteen. Joe Osteen is a multi-millionaire. You're trying to put all of this shit out of a 25 people in some damn event space. You don't even have a church. When you gave your press conference, this man's giving a press conference about his robbery. You don't even have a church to stand in front of. Yet you're supposed to be in the real estate industry, right? You don't want nobody to ask you no questions about a man like you, look like a flashy street pimp, is riding around in quarter to $500,000 cars. Not one, but several. But you think you want to get all the attention for all these glamorous things, but you don't want nobody to ask you where they came from, right? So you came on there and you made this story by going on and first insulting Larry and the girl, I forget her name, the other pastor girl. You came on and you were so insulted because they laughed at you. They're all going to laugh at you. What did you expect, sir? People walk into the building, you fall on the floor before they even say hands up. You already ready, right? And then you come on with some harebrained story about how you was telling everybody, y'all stay calm, y'all stay calm. Okay, everybody go down now. Everybody, we don't want nobody. There was no speech, girl. They came through the door and you hit the ground, right? But you couldn't leave well enough alone because frankly, it's a dead story. But you have milked it and milked it and milked it for everything you can get out of it, right? Because as I said before a month ago, nobody even heard of you, even though you claim to be famous. Now we can understand somebody like if TD Jakes wants to go and buy himself ride around in a $400,000 car, we can say, well, we don't like it, but we definitely understand it because we know he has the money, right? You a person who is fronting like you some kind of goddamn superstar, and you don't want nobody asking no questions about it. You don't want them to laugh at you, yet you dress up in all these damn clownish outfits, draw whatever you can do to draw attention to yourself with these pink ass glasses, coming on here talking about people's faggots. Mr. Whitehead, obviously you listen to YouTubers. Let me give you some advice, dude. A person of your dubious character, the very last thing you want to do is to begin a lawsuit. Because just like you hired a lawyer, they hire a lawyer and they start digging. They got to dig and dig because you still ain't told us where all this motherfucking millions of dollars worth of cars and all these goddamn 300 and 400 suits and all this big fucking house you got, girl, for millions of dollars, right? You still ain't explained to anybody's understanding why you won't get these people back their money, right? When you're going out spending money on jewelry and houses for yourself, cars for yourself, cars for your wife, you're doing all that, and yet you have all this outstanding debt. Do you really want these people, these attorneys, to start digging into your past? Do you believe, are you so delusional as to believe they're not going to dig into your criminal history as well? So maybe this is what you want. You want more publicity, right? You have gotten caught up in the publicity and you realize, you figured that, well, if I sue Larry Reid and King Jives, even though I know I ain't gonna get no money, how much more can I milk this story for? The whole country's talking about me. He said, I'm famous. I'm the leading story. I'm the top story. They're all talking about me, right? Be careful, sir, what you bring onto yourself, because not only are you going to bring on the attention of these people's paid attorneys and the investigators that they hire routinely, you're also going to bring on these people who are already interested in you. We already know that the Fed is interested in you. They came to your house. How are you going to get around that? Right? So I don't know if you figured that since you're already going to jail any damn way, what difference does it make? I might as well get all the publicity I can, enjoy this moment. Everybody's looking at me. Look, they're all looking at me, right? With all this ridiculous stuff on, sir. You're not a classy person. You're clownish. And you're going to pay for this. Now, whatever you think about what Larry exposed, first of all, you took offense to him just laughing at you. How are you going to play around on the internet if nobody going to laugh at you? Nobody going to talk about you. All they're going to do is come over here and sing your praises. We don't care nothing about you, nigga. I'm just being serious. You just like somebody out in front of the liquor store or the gas station, hanging out, singing doo-wop. That's who you are to us. I never heard you preach nothing. You say you're famous, but for what? The only thing that's famous about you is these youngsters coming in there and taking your shit. I have never experienced that, where you want to go and then milk that for a month of being robbed and humiliated. We have heard enough time. We have heard so much about they put a gun to my daughter's head. They put a gun. How did you see all that? When they came in, you was face down on the ground. Was it out of the corner of your eye or something? I don't think that was primary in that story, sir. Your story has stunk from the very beginning. And now you want to sue people. Well, go ahead and sue them. I'm sure before they put the gag order on this case, if it ever even makes it far enough into the courts, where they tell you you can't talk about the case, they put the gag. Right now, they can go in there and call you whatever the fuck they want to call you. They can go into all your background. They can investigate all of your real estate. I don't know who in the hell would be investing millions of dollars in somebody like you, where you would be able to take out enough to buy a $400,000 car, right? When you got busted before you went to prison, wasn't that about a car, a motorcycle? Where you would rip somebody off and use somebody else's credit to buy a motorcycle? So they're going to dig into your actual car notes. How much is he paying? Where's the money come from? Is it in his name? Is the Bentley in his name, or whatever, Maserati or whatever the other these cars are? Is that all in his name? Isn't he a felon? Isn't he not allowed to sell real estate in New York? So if you're running a real estate business, you can't sell real estate in New York State. Where in the hell is the money coming from? You're talking about buildings, you own them, you got your Whitehead estates, you got the name on all that kind of stuff. What actually occurred there? You think the lawyers are not going to dig into that? Right? Because from what we understand, you have not been even paid the mortgage on these buildings you're bragging about. You owe everybody money. Listen, if I owe everybody money that I ever did business with, the last thing I'm going to be doing is going out and purchasing Rolls Royces. Right? I mean, does that make sense to you? It doesn't make any sense at all. So y'all, I'm going on. Y'all know the story is, I'm not saying Bishop no more. Fuck that. Mr. Whitehead is suing King Jives and Larry Reid for slander. He says that they caused all of this avalanche of criticism that attached itself to him, although they ain't the ones that did that. If they would have just covered the story, that's a one-day story, nigga. You can stretch it out 3 days. No, you made the story by appearing here and there and saying the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, because this is the closest you've ever come to fame, right? You bought into this internet shit about going viral, right? And so now you want to get a couple more months out of it. But there's no gag order. Not yet. Maybe if you paid this lawyer right, I hope he understands that he ain't getting paid either. If you have a history of never paying anybody, paying your bills, what is the likelihood you're gonna pay the attorney? So I don't know how long he gonna last. This lawyer of yours. What am I thinking about? But I know Larry Reid got attorneys. Nip it in the bud, baby. You think you're going to come out here and play with us and you're going to be big bad man because you're mad because somebody laughed at you and they talking about you and they calling you. I think Jives even called him Pastor Dickhead or whatever. And I'm sure you're all insulted. They're going to disrespect me. They're going to disrespect. What about your ministry? What is that? What is that about actually? You know, I have a low opinion of a lot of pastors anyway. But you ain't did nothing pastoral. At least I can go to Jake's. I know what he can preach the word. He can bring a word. He can enlighten my soul and make me happy and make me think. What do? You just want to claim all of the. You want to claim the fame without ever actually owning anything. You took one of your parishioners who introduced you to his mama and went and ripped the boy's mama off. This is the character of you. How do you explain that to somebody? Oh, I have your money. They showed the check of the woman gave you. What was it? How much you give him? 90,000 or something. They had it up online. 90,000. Why don't you just get a woman her money? If you're riding around in $400,000 Rolls Royces and Bentleys and Maseratis, why would you not just cut the woman a check? Who in creation just hands over $90,000 to some fool, some flashy fool, and he don't give her nothing for the 90,000? I mean, you told that woman that you're going to consider her investment in a house that you're supposed to be buying and renovating. You're going to consider that a donation to your run for borough president, an ex-con. You know you wasn't going to be no damn borough nothing. You did that. That was a scam to get money out of people. They say you collected a lot of money for this campaign of yours. And you mean to tell me that you went and mixed this poor woman who's worked her whole life and accumulated $90,000. You going to take all of that and say she just gave it to you? She ain't in no position to be giving nobody no $90,000, her whole life savings. And you wonder why they talking about me. They talking about me. At the end of his lawsuit, hey people, this is not just YouTube talk. The New York Post is reporting on this story, full page story, right? For as long as we've known about this Whitehead character for the last month or so, this is how the New York Post how they cover him. Hold on a minute. Oh, I'm going to talk about the way that the New York Post talks about him. They called him the gold and gem dripping clergyman who tools around in luxury vehicles such as Rolls Royce, has battled back against critics who claim his high-flying lifestyle made him a target for crooks. Mm-hmm. This is how they talk about him. They called him the gold and gem dripping clergyman. Mm-hmm. Whitehead, who has an alleged history of grifting and served time in prison for identity theft, grand larceny, lost more than an estimated $1 million in jewelry in July crime. Okay. I just want to get how they talk about you, the way they refer to you. You're a joke to the whole world. First, you were a joke in New York City, and now you're a joke to the world because you chose to use this tool called the internet. You don't know how to use it well. And so now you are going to sue people who speak about you. That article is on the, y'all can look it up online. Y'all can look it up from the New York Post. Apparently, several other papers, local papers there. This story will be hot for another few days, whatever. So everybody's going to talk about it again. But he wants to blame it all on Larry Reid. Now, Larry Reid and the girl and the woman, I don't know her, I forget her name. They talked about him for 10 minutes. Yes, Larry Reid made fun of him. Yes, he did lay on the ground and say this is what he did. He just mimicked what you did. It's not like he just created a scenario. All he did was emulate what you did when the people came in. The moment they walked through the door, you was on the ground. That's why it looks so fake and phony. And why haven't they caught these people? What happened to the 48 hours? You got all of this, you said fame, all these connections. We got pictures of the people from the back, granted. We got pictures of their body and their movements, however, right? You claim to put up $50,000 for the reward, which I believe you never intended to pay nobody no $50,000, Chef. We have pictures of their car. We have pictures of their license plate. And somehow or other, they still can't find these kids. They're not sophisticated criminals. These are just young people. You can tell by their body movement. But they can't find them, right? Why is that, Whitehead? Why have you been online every single day talking about you got robbed? Is that something that warrants fame? How y'all doing? Let me see what y'all say. Mm-hmm. How y'all doing today? Oh yeah, honey. Yeah, we're gonna talk about Whitehead and what's going to happen. They're going to uncover all of his scam. See, here's the thing. I've been a criminal before. I know what a criminal is. Because he got busted one time and ended up in prison for what was it, 9 years or something like that. Because he got busted, that's not the only time he committed a crime. That ain't the only one, child. When they start digging into you, Whitehead, they're going to discover all of the scams that you have pulled. And people who you thought you forgot about, they're going to come out of the woodwork and give their testimony. Why? Because you have created this monster, which you can't control. And now you kind of, how you going to sue Larry Reid, honey? He been through this shit before. They know how to handle people like you. We are commentators. That's what we do. We commentate. I would suggest that if you're going to be offended and get your feelings hurt, do not participate in social media because that's what it gives, right? You might want to dress it down so you don't look up, have the appearance of a clown running around here with these damn suits. Every time they show you in these suits that got labels on them from the head all the way down to your feet, and you got the diamond rings and diamonds, you look like a fool, a clown, right? Which only enhances the story and makes people interested, right? But it's not interested in a good way. Nobody's interested in your ministry. When you had that damn sorry ass what do you call it, press conference, there was no clergy there. Not one person in the city, the biggest city in the United States, not one clergyman showed up at your press conference. No one wants to be associated with you, Whitehead. Now, I don't know if you paid somebody to make you a bishop. This is allegedly. I have no idea how somebody can get out of prison a couple of years later, they're the pastor, and then they're a bishop. I don't know how that happens. You have a film of a ceremony, somebody putting a crown on your head. But you know, a lot of that church stuff is foolishness anyway. But we don't know how you are able to get yourself named a bishop. We don't know who respects you in that role. We haven't seen anything you've ever done to deserve the title of a bishop. You're not over anybody. You're not in charge of other ministries. No one else is being fed by you, right? Anyway, I'm not going to rehash the whole story about Whitehead. The story is apparently on yesterday, this dude, no, Friday, he filed his lawsuit, King Jives and Larry Reid. That's the story. So we're going to hear a lot of this for at least for a minute until they finally get a court date, if he goes that far. And then they're going to put a gag on it. Or his attorney's going to try to put a gag order on them. But the thing is, this is the guy who can't shut up. He don't want no damn gag order, right? His attorneys are going to tell him, if you don't like people talking about you and laughing at you, you should get a gag order so they can't talk about the case, right? But Whitehead, being who he is and what he is and what we've seen of him, he wants to talk and talk and talk, right? Because for him, in his mind, now he's famous. 15 minutes of fame. I think it was Andy Warhol who originated that statement. It doesn't mean a literal 15 minutes. It means a short period of time. You have milked this story and milked this story and milked the story, Whitehead, since the day it happened. Who milks their own robbery? And now you're trying to milk it some more. I can get a whole year out of this because you place value on people talking about you. It's not going to be good, brother. I'm sure that you are very offended that King Jives referred to you as Pastor Dickhead, and the things that they both have their own different style of commenting on you, but they ain't hardly the only ones, baby, because for a minute there, everybody was talking about you. The whole town's laughing at you. You can't blame two people when you're dealing with the internet, honey. You think people don't laugh at me and talk about me and talk about my mama, say all kind of crazy shit about me? If I'm going to play the game, I got to play the game, baby. We don't all go running to the police and to the lawyers and try to sue people. People, I hope they're not trying to start a trend now where everybody's just suing YouTubers, right? They can just crash this damn thing down, right? Tied up in litigation. You think them two people are the only ones talking? I must have made 5 my own damn self. You're a trending story. That's what they're going to do. They talk about you, honey. They're going to eat your ass up. There's so much there. Have you even bothered to write that woman a check for $90,000? That's what you could do to clean up the wreckage of your past. What about the people in Florida? Have you written them $250,000 check? All the people who say that you owe them money, have you cleaned up any of that wreckage? No, you just been on here running your mouth and shopping. Going through your closet, showing all the bags of shit that you shop. That is that tour of your closet. That is the way crooks live. Normal people do not have stacks and stacks of Air Max bags just thrown into their closet. Or the Air Max, what's that other label he likes so much? Don't Need Gabucci or some damn body. Where you just bought this stuff. In other words, you just have pictures of yourself carrying out bags out of store. People don't spend their money like that. They don't. Rich people, they can do whatever the fuck they want to do, right? But when you go into their closet, you know, they're bought things and wear things. You just had bags and bags and bags and bags stacked up. That's the way criminals live. People who, what they call, hit a lick. You thought ministry was going to be a lick for you. Ministry has made a fool of you. You look stupid. And so in his lawsuit, he claims that Larry Reid and King Jives has cost him his business. That people don't want to buy real estate from him no more, although he does not have a license to sell real estate in New York City. He said they won't buy them. They don't trust me now because of Larry Reid. As if businessmen and women are sitting up here on YouTube like housewives or something, child, just watching all the comedy coming out of King Jives and Larry Reid. That's why they don't want to do business with you no more. Maybe they don't want to do business with you, Mr. Whitehead, because of what the New York Times said or the New York Post said about you, or all the local papers and everybody who reports on you. Maybe they're more influenced by the New York Times than they are by King Jives, right? Maybe when they Google your name, perhaps when they Google your name, they've got pages and pages of pages on this Whitehead based on a simple robbery in Brooklyn. People are going to start looking. If I'm going to pay you as my attorney, you're definitely going to start looking into this dude because we know there's so much there. You still ain't explained no money. To try to tie it to a church with 25 people in it, it's foolishness. It is foolishness, sir. And just like O.J. Simpson learned, you feel like you got away the first time on some technicality and they let you out of prison after 9 years. You say, oh, I'm going to be exonerated, all this shit. They let you out on the technicality because you paid lawyers to do that. Just like O.J. Simpson learned when they finally got him. It wasn't for the killing of Nicole, but really, it was for the killing of Nicole. Basically, you got away. You got away with it. You got away with murdering people, right? And so now when we have you threatening somebody, we're throwing the book at your ass. What do you get, 15 years? Right? Look at R. Kelly. R. Kelly went through the whole process of being accused of being a child molester and peeing on this young girl online with all the evidence stacked against him. He won the case, walked away from the case. And what did he do? Immediately go back to molesting little girls. Right? They're not going to let you go twice. They can't do that because then they're turning you back over into society. Right? Whitehead, the mansion buyer, they're going to research. They want to know where this money is coming from. Damn. Hi, y'all. It is hot in San Francisco, honey. I know some of y'all say, oh, it's only 79. It's 75. I know a lot of places doing with 100. I think it's been 100 in LA for damn near a week. But I feel it today. What y'all think about Mr. Whitehead? Polk Street is not gay anymore. What do you know about Polk Street, Marcus? I haven't been over there in years. He's talking about Polk Street used to be the hoe drag, the gay hoe drag. Well, first, actually, it used to be pretty legit. They used to have all the dance clubs on Polk Street in San Francisco. So I don't know if it looks nice. I mean, it's just a regular street, but at night, all the freaks come out and it turns into a host grove for males and transgenders. I'm not gay no more. Maybe I got busted on Polk Street so many times. Okay. Hey there, RJ Supreme. How you doing? And Tennessee, Stephanie. Mark is flipping. Why are you talking about Polk Street for, Marcus? Let me see. I know I'm terrible with this chat. I don't see good. Mr. Whitehead is delusional. He's very delusional, honey. That boy is just, I don't understand it. The very thing he is suing them for, he is bringing more onto himself. I can think about 10 people who talked about him for at least a week, right? They're going to talk about him again. What are you going to do, sue everybody, Whitehead? Why don't you take your ass off of YouTube, off of social media, and then you have to worry about it. Let the story die. The story was supposed to die in 2 to 3 days. That was really a one-day story for somebody to come in and take your stuff from you. But you're trying to turn it into a whole career, bringing on all this smoke on you. Think about the FBI agents out there trying to make a name for themselves and get advancement, or even your local police who've been hearing your name for years, right? And now they get the opportunity to be assigned to your case, right? That movie, American Gangster with Denzel Washington. Remember how the guy, what was his name? Bumpy was a Steleth. I forget Denzel Washington. I forget what character he played. What's his name? Frank Lucas. Frank Lucas was invisible in New York City, but he was the biggest drug dealer in New York City. Certainly the biggest black drug dealer in the New York City. He had the connections coming all the way from overseas, right? They were not aware of him until that cop in there happened to be watching a game, and he came in with this big old, I think it was chinchilla coat, $50,000 coat with a matching hat, and the cop said, "Who is this? Why are they talking to him?" Right? Because he brought the attention onto himself, right? And after they brought the attention onto himself, the cops were all over it. And the other crooked cops from Jersey were all over him. Everybody all of a sudden wanted a piece of him. Why? Because he had to be so fucking flashy. If he would have just wore a regular suit to that game, nobody would even still not even know who he was. I'm just telling you, that's the way the movie portrayed it, and it's also the way they portray it when they do documentaries on that situation between him and that cop. The cop was not even aware of him. So you think being flashy, I don't know who that impresses. Nobody cares about you. Those suits look just like the guy, the Riddler in Batman. Y'all remember the Riddler? He wore green suits with riddle signs. I mean, question marks all over the thing from head to toe. That's what that suit is. They say, "Oh, that's by Dapper Dan made that suit. Dapper Dan made that suit." Well, I would suggest to you, sir, that you take on a different look because you look like a clown. I'm just being honest with you, bro. If you're a criminal, you need to keep a low profile. The last thing you want is people start digging into your life. Coffee with Cassie. Hi, Coffee with Cassie. Hey, Tashana. You kind of catch up, son. You hope that Larry Reid doesn't use Tasha K lawyer? Well, that didn't work out too good. I think he has used her lawyer for something. But that experience with that other dude, I mean, I'm sure Larry learned a few things there about how to handle these trolls. And what he did wasn't all that. I mean, he really wasn't all that, honey. So what, he laid on the ground like you did? You made a joke out of it. You think the comedians weren't laughing at you as well? If they know who you are, they'll laugh. They make fun of you. That's what the internet is. I mean, social media is anyway. You don't want to hear him preach, tearing apart the word. He wants to go out with the bang. Bringing a lawsuit against somebody is the last thing he needs to be doing. And now the damn thing is over with now. They ain't talking about his ass no more. Nobody cares. Nobody cares anymore. The story is dead. And so what did he do? He come out of nowhere with lawsuits for $20 million. He wants $20 million from King Jives, and he wants a matching sum, $20 million for Larry Reid. And he says he's leaving the option. It could be more. They're not talking about you anymore. The story is dead, but you won't let it die, sir. I'm okay. In net 75. INET, or is it INET? Yeah, pronounced INET. I made your day, Tennessee. Lord have mercy. I'm just talking to RJ Supreme. I'm just talking about what's going on. And this boy wants to be, I get tired of talking about Jay Wilson all the time. There's got to be some other fools out there, right? And Whitehead proves that, yes, we have some in the straight sector as well. We have an idiot for you. Watch, he's going to go out and set himself on fire so people will look at him. He is crying, desperate for attention. Who else gets out of prison and names himself a bishop? If you're no longer a criminal, then you should be thanking God that you're no longer a criminal, and find something, find out what your vocation is, sir. Okay. Tasha, is it Tasha LaGrande? Someone should have told him, when you sue someone, you have the burden of proving the case. Right. You say you're not a scammer. How are you going to prove that? When they can call up all these witnesses, just what we know of in the last month, of people who you have ripped off, taking their money and not produce anything. Right? All of your creditors, all the people you've done things to, they can call them to the stand. Since you say that you are not a scammer, how are you going to prove that, Whitehead? You did time for scamming. I mean, you did time for identity theft, right? How are you going to disprove that? That's the first thing they're going to bring up. The judge is going to throw that bullshit out. But I believe that you really don't think, you certainly don't think you're going to get $20 million out of King Jives. So I believe that this is just another ploy for you to get more attention, right? To try to ride the story more, right? You challenge Larry Reid, you want to beat him up. That will also come out in the court case. So you're challenging people, you're threatening people under the guise of this is going to be a legitimate, what is Larry Reid, a prize fighter or something? No, they'll pull that apart as well, Whitehead. You'll be lucky to make it out of the court without being charged with a crime right there in your lawsuit. Well, thank you for the content. Part of you think he's part of the community? Lord have mercy, child. Yeah, he got a real problem with the gays, right? But he don't realize how many of the gays are online, child. So I'm sure he don't like some of the ways that because King Jives wrote it more than Larry Reid, but Larry Reid has a bigger audience, so that's why he's coming after Larry Reid, right? So Larry Reid he's been very successful recently. In these last few years, he's grown his channel quite a bit, right? So if he wants attention, then obviously that's why he would go to him. Correct. I guess he sees Jives connected to Larry Reid. He only knows about Jives because of Larry Reid laughed at him. Baby, they all gonna laugh at you. They all gonna laugh at you. I'm looking like a fool, bragging about your damn robbery. What about, have you any progress with apprehending the criminals, Whitehead? You had a long time. Or were these just people you knew? Did you bring them in from out of town? Do they not live in Brooklyn? Mm-hmm. You had to know they were secure somewhere, or you wouldn't have offered $50,000. But your story will come out eventually. You'll be on American Justice or something, because you're going to make it more and more interesting before the hammer drops. Did Larry Reid's court case against the cigar blogger end yet? I would assume so. We don't hear from him no more. That went on a while. I ain't heard a peep from that dude in at least a year. So yes, we can assume that is ended. A lot of these things are going to end. They're going to have gag orders they can't talk about. So they got to hammer his ass into the ground right now. It's still legal. Mm-hmm. Uncle Tim, as a straight guy, I don't put much attention on fabrics or logos and how my colors coordinate as Whitehead. Whitehead has the matching shoes. It got logos all over that. He got logos all over the hat. He got all the designer glasses. You can tell when somebody ain't never had that job. I remember one year I was watching the Grammys, and R. Kelly got called for these Grammys for some songs he did, right? And he came on there. This is when he first had a cell phone. He had a cell phone, a pager, and what else? I said, that nigga had everything but a TV on stage with him, child. He's supposed to be up there to accept an award, and he got all these gadgets up there letting people see him, child. R. Kelly, could we assume you could afford a cell phone? I mean, goddamn, the nigga rich. I hate to say the words, but let's say, okay, he's African American rich. No, I don't like that. What is he? You can't say, you don't want to say the N-word rich. Oh, he's the N-word rich. So he gonna prove that the feds weren't at his house. So Larry Reid lied. That's what he got to prove. Aren't there documents about that, Whitehead? I don't know why the police didn't arrest his ass for that stunt in Brooklyn. The robbers weren't even wearing gloves. That's one of the first things I said, Tennessee, Stephanie. I said they didn't even have gloves on. Did they have to open the door? Right? I'm just saying, they had no gloves on. We saw them. You know their body movement. People who know them, like I know people that coming towards me by the way they walk. I can just tell. So some people knew who they were. And they don't need $50,000 in this economy. They always talk, but yet nobody's come forward. They got the man's car and the license plates. And coincidentally, maybe Whitehead's wife had the same car. That's one of her first cars. I don't know if he bought it for her or whatever. The white Mercedes. I'm confused about the Mercedes because the Mercedes was parked in front of the church, not a church, the event center. And the robbers were coming across the street towards the church, past the white car. But the police said that was the car, right? So, Mr. Whitehead, don't sue Larry Reid and King Jives. You need to sue the New York Times and on today, the New York Post and every other legitimate news organization. You brag that you even made it to CNN. So you got to sue CNN because CNN certainly has a bigger reach than Larry Reid, right? They ain't the only ones that called you a crook, a thief, charlatan, right? Even some people in your church or this church that you're saying you're a part of, they even found you to be rather foolish. Not one person showed up to support you, not one. Now, that's unusual for a bishop, because a bishop should be a popular person among other churches. Many times they are assigned to be like a supervisor or a regional manager over other ministers or ministries. They certainly have affiliation with other ministries, right? You just started this little ramshackle thing and then made yourself a bishop there. It's ridiculous. But you want more attention. And you know what's going to be your highest number, Mr. Whitehead? The highest number, the most viral you're ever going to get is when they put them handcuffs on you. Trust me. On that day, you will get your wish. You will officially go viral. When they put them handcuffs on, and believe me, they're going to be photographers there. There's going to be somebody with the FBI or the local police that's going to alert the press. And you go, so stay dressed in your suits if you want to be remembered that way. He complied before they even gave the command. I said, damn, nigga, you can get up off the floor, bro. They would gun my baby. When did they have a chance to do that, Whitehead? You were already on the ground, girl, facing the dirt. He thinks the whole world's stupid but him. It's crazy. I still see these guys around town occasionally. These guys who stuck in the 60s and 70s, and they got on the 3-piece suit, and they got they dragging one leg behind them, you know, and this silk shirt and all. I said, God damn, you woke up and put all that shit on? It's 100 degrees, bro. Anyway, drag their leg behind them, cool. What's happening, bro? What's happening, bro? Talking like this. They're still in 1969, child. Arrested Development. And this dude, he's not even old. Anyway. Not even, but popular among his flock. The 25 people. We seen the church. Them 25 people, they ain't got no money to be buying no Rolls Royces, please. These people are poor people, just had to pay their rent. Where in the hell did you get this money from where you can walk into a jewelry store and buy a $50,000 watch, Whitehead, yet you owe everybody whoever did business with you. And you say out of your own mouth that you're not allowed to sell real estate in New York. These are not my words. These are your words, not mine. So he'll get his wish. The build-a-thon. What's the build-a-thon? He was raising money to build the church. I would think if you are such a real estate magnate and you own whole city blocks of apartment buildings and all that, you should be able to find us a church somewhere, something, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. You should have been able to build them people something they could call a place of worship, right? Why would you drag your tacky ass up in there in that event center, put up 2 screens, be in front of it, and then you're going to call this your church? This is your church. It costs about probably, I don't know, $200-300 a week. Whatever they charge for you to go in there and have a service for 2 hours. You mean to tell me you can buy all this stuff for yourself, your adornments, and you can't come up with not one building in Brooklyn, and you are a real estate mogul? Did you describe yourself as a real estate mogul? I'm very successful in real estate. You think they're not going to pull that apart, Whitehead? When you sue them, they're going to have a right to go in there and get your records, right? I'm just saying. You like my hairline? Sable Winners? I still got a little bit. It looks like I might have a problem right about here. Male pattern bald. I don't know. My hair never grew long anyway, but I haven't been bald yet. We'll see. I'm near the finish line anyway, child. Nobody want me. My church had one for years. They didn't build. They joker till it was grown. What? Your church had one for years. They didn't build that joker till I was grown. Oh, they just keep raising money for the church, the build-a-thon. They had raising money for the build-a-thon. Meanwhile, the pastor driving a new Cadillac every year. I understand. Meanwhile, the pastor is about himself a 6-bedroom estate, honey, please. But he wants all this stuff, us to believe all this stuff, and he don't even. I mean, the man has no visible means of income at all, honey. What is this business that you say you do, right? Can you imagine somebody coming in there in that clown suit and you say, I can invest $2 million. Would that be good enough? Oh, please. The country pimp coming and somebody going to invest in that, child, please. They can see what your values are, Whitehead, by how you present yourself. Anyway, people, we had to report on this. I think Jives over there right now. And I'm sure Larry will respond to this. And Mr. Whitehead will get what he wants, what he craves. He just wants attention. He's riding around in a Rolls Royce with the top down, with all the jewelry on, all the labels on his head, labels on his hands, labels everywhere. It's all about, look at me, right? So the same thing make you laugh, make you cry, Whitehead. You playing around on this internet, they're going to chop your ass up like chop suey. Chop, 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 chop. And you're going to see how it feels to be famous. Thank you guys for coming on in. Oh, I can't get into Omar Johnson. I don't know enough about him, child. Y'all have a wonderful, try to stay cool wherever you're at. It seems like it's hot everywhere. This climate change is real. We're beginning to see that they're not playing around when they talk about climate change, because it's burning up everywhere. And it's never this hot in San Francisco. But it is. Talk to you guys later.